Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to Couple of Flicks. I'm Tristan.
I am Nick.
And I'm Zach.
So today we're talking about each of our top 5 weirdest films we've ever seen. And these lists aren't final. But whatever. We're going to just do it anyway. So.
And my list, I will say up front, kind of sucks. Just because I don't necessarily go out for weird movies, go after them all that much, except for the purpose of this podcast. So yeah. I like when I try and choose movies for the podcast, I go for the goofy ones, the silly comedy, action, stupid ones like that.
Yeah.
So.
I, on the other hand, love weird movies, and I especially I like stuff that's challenging and offbeat and bizarre and different. And I don't know. Those tend to be the type of movies I go to the most, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't like them. I just have a backlog of movies I want to see. So
you gotta. I mean, you have
prioritize.
To kind of exactly. Yeah. So, it all basically depends on what you're kind of looking for at whichever time in your life. There's times where I'm not really in the mood for weird stuff. There's times where I would rather just watch stuff that makes me laugh. That definitely happens. But yeah, I'd say, I don't know. I think regardless, these 3 lists will have their own sort of perks. So
yeah.
So.
I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff because I also watch a lot of weird shit.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure I'm forgetting things as well. So.
I had to come up with ones and just kind of shoehorn some of them in. But
hey, we could always revisit, in the future. Anyway, so who wants to go first? Because it doesn't really matter to me personally.
I mean, I can go first with I don't know.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just go first. It's kind of they're weird movies for sure. But I will just go with Antichrist first.
Okay. For number 5?
For number 5, yeah.
Cool.
And number 4 is real similar to it, but number 5 is Antichrist.
Nice.
Just because, I mean, Lars von Trier just makes weird fucking movies in general.
Yeah.
And this was one of the weirder ones.
It's just a weird guy, period.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And that was probably my first, movie of weirdum / disturbingness I ever watched.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's on a lot of most disturbing lists. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's why I watched. I just saw this is when it was first coming out. It was like, this is fucked up. I could barely watch it. And she was like, that piqued my interest. Yeah. So I was like, I mean, I might be just desensitized-ish to movies in general because I know they're movies. But yeah, it was fucked up. But I didn't think it was I guess I didn't have the same opinion as the general public.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fucked up, of course. But.
Definitely. But I do think the hype, a film like that could easily get hyped up, and then you see it, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, it was fucked up, but only I got a couple parts or something like that. I mean, I think it's more the type of movie that's it's more just messed up to kind of think about rather than to watch. I feel because for example, what all the stuff that was going on in the woods and the nature and the part with the deer with the stillborn and all that, that's the kind of stuff that tends to stick with me more. And the part where Willem Dafoe wakes up and has all the deer ticks on his arm, that stuff freaks me out more.
I did not like that.
Yeah,
I hate ticks.
Yeah,
they're one of my biggest, not fears, but
yeah, they're gross.
Make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
One thing that I hated, just randomly, it's in The Mummy, the scarab scene, where there's
Yeah.
Like I was a kid when I watched that, and that scared the fuck out of me, even though it's not like a horror movie at all.
Yeah.
But seeing the scarabs in that movie like crawl under the skin, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then in The Mist, my favorite movie, has that, those spiders and under the skin shit. I'm like,
There is something kind of uncomfortable and weird about bugs getting into people's skin and going into people's bodies. And stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was mostly the nature stuff that creeped me out about Antichrist. Like the violence was, I mean, of course it was hard to watch, but it was supposed to be.
yeah.
Whereas like the stuff that was happening around them, like, and just the overall mood and atmosphere, and also that opening scene really bothered me too, just because like I don't like when horrible things happen to babies, so of course like that was like
Yeah.
Then you won't like my fourth pick either.
Uh-oh.
And I think you probably know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the same vein as Antichrist, if you know what I mean.
I'll brace myself. Yeah. Okay, should I go next?
Yeah, if you want.
All right. Well, my number 5 pick is it's an Australian movie called Bad Boy Bubby. Have either of you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I actually
Nope.
saw something about it today. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's don't watch it if you like cats. I will say that because there's a couple parts where some pretty bad stuff happens to cats, and of course, like it's not like actual cats, but it is like it's obviously not like pleasant to look at that kind of thing though. So it kind of has sort of a similar plot as that Brendan Fraser movie Blast from the Past, where like he's like growing up in a bomb shelter or whatever underground because his parents like convinced him that the world above is like full of radiation. It kind of has a similar plot to that.
Was that one a comedy though, more? Or?
Yeah, that's more of a comedy. This is
I think
like
I saw that one then.
yeah, Blast from the Past. Yeah. That's more of a comedy. That's more of like a romantic comedy. This isn't. I mean, in a way, this is a comedy, but like you kind of have to have a really dark sense of humor because it's I don't know, the kind of stuff that it's like making light of is typically the type of thing that generally shouldn't really be made light of in a socially healthy society. I actually find the movie kind of moving, but it is kind of like if like somebody like Stanley Kubrick or someone like directed Blast from the Past or something like that. It's really bizarre, and it's pretty much this guy who is being raised in a bomb shelter by his mom, and his mom is sick, and he's like this middle-aged guy at this point when the movie begins. He's like in his 40s, so he's already kind of like older and like kind of uglier looking and tired, and pretty much all he knows is stuff that is like that people like say to him, like insults that get thrown at him and stuff like that. That's pretty much all he knows, and so he like mimics the stuff that he hears, and eventually, through a series of really tragic situations, he ends up leaving his home to discover that the world outside isn't actually full of radiation. And that's when the film actually ends up taking a really interesting shift, just in tone, because the first like half an hour of the movie is super claustrophobic and ugly, and most people I know who've tried to watch it like can't stand it. Like they can't get past the beginning, because the opening sequences in the film, it's all basically in this one like space, like this one small, like, I don't want to say it's like a single room, but it may as well be. It's just like basically a dungeon. There's no windows or anything. And the mom is really gross and nasty, and like just the stuff that's going on is pretty ugly, But once he actually leaves his home and like basically joins civilization, or at least attempts to, and like obviously like it's not going to go well, but it actually does go in an interesting direction though, like because like even though like it goes badly for him, it's almost like a series of like misadventures almost, and it sort of has like an episodic sort of quality to it. I wouldn't recommend it to people who are religious, like who are like strictly religious, because like there is some blasphemous imagery and like dialogue in it, and it's a very like not politically correct movie. But I actually really like it a lot. But it's very weird though.
Yeah, I think someone on my Letterboxd watched that today. So
Yeah, it's a good one. I've seen it a couple times actually. I really like that one.
we'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah, you can pretty much guess if it's your type of movie based on that description. You know, like, yeah.
My number 5 is Rubber.
I want to see that one, but
I
I never got
good.
around to it yet.
Yeah.
People who haven't seen it, it's about a sentient tire who
Yeah.
telepathically kills people.
Telepathically kills people?
Yes.
Oh, huh. I thought it would like just. I of course just know it's about a killer tire. That's about all I know. I thought it was like beat him or run into him.
Yeah. It's very strange. There's a whole subplot, really weird subplot.
Yeah. I want to see the director's new movie. Snakeskin, I think it's called.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, yeah, it's about a guy who I guess because my friend was telling me about it really quick. I didn't really understand what he was saying, and I didn't bother looking it up. But I guess it's about like some guy who gets a snakeskin jacket, and then he gets obsessed with snakeskin jackets and starts like paying people to like so that he can like take pictures of their jackets or something. And then like I guess like it turns deadly. Like I guess he starts making snuff films or something. I don't know. That is like my friend was trying to explain it to me, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
But it sounded interesting.
Huh.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I would watch it too.
I may watch that one.
Yeah.
I'll watch
Also,
Rubber. I want to see
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. Also recommend watching Rubber High.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 4, kind of related because it's basically the same kind of
Like notoriety or
yeah,
Okay.
a Serbian film.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And you said you've never seen weird movies.
Yeah, no, that's the one.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird one.
One I did. It's hard to even just think about.
It's hard to talk about. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but
yeah, if we do,
I-
we'll get like
yeah.
fucking taken down
Yeah.
off of YouTube.
I will say though that I don't think a movie where a man like takes his own appendage hostage is supposed to be taken completely seriously. You know, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was effective. So,
it was disturbing for sure.
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Disturbing as fuck.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched it was with you, Tristan, and I
Yeah.
can't believe you watched it again with me.
I mean, who else am I? If I'm gonna rewatch it, who else am I gonna rewatch it with? You know?
True.
Yeah.
I'll never rewatch that one. No.
I think I'm the only person I know who's watched it twice. I think.
I will watch it again at some point,
Yeah.
but I don't know when that will be.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I don't even know like when that was, but I'm still trying to process it. Like,
Yeah.
good choice though. My number 4 is called The Reflecting Skin. And it is, I believe, a Canadian film, or it was filmed in Canada by an English filmmaker, I believe. But anyway, yeah, that's a pretty weird one. It's sort of like I guess you could call it a coming of age story in a way, but it's about this kid who lives in this town or actually it's really more of a village. Like it's like there's like nothing there, and there's probably maybe like a population of like 25 or 20 people, like maybe not even that many people. So like it's like an isolated location, these cornfields, and like the colors of the corn, because I was reading, I guess the director wasn't happy with the way the cornfields looked, and he actually like spray painted parts of them for certain shots, which I find odd sense of dedication there, you know. But yeah, so it's about this kid who it's almost like an Amish community, and he starts suspecting this local lady of being a vampire, which it's an unusual movie because like when you first meet her, you kind of think like that she's just some crazy old lady, but there is sort of like a weird like supernatural kind of undercurrent to it that like you can't really tell if it's in like the kid's mind or if it's like if these things are real or whatever, or if he's like a budding serial killer or something, because like people start dying, like bodies start turning up, and so there's almost like a mysterious like murder aspect to it. And of course the kid's father gets blamed because it gets discovered that his father is basic or was a predator basically. So his father ends up blowing himself up, and then like Viggo Mortensen shows up after the funeral. So Viggo Mortensen is in it, which is interesting. It's an early Viggo Mortensen film, and he shows up to the family because he's I think like I want to say he's like the kid's brother or something like that. And he meets this neighbor girl who the boy thinks is a vampire, and starts kind of getting involved with her. And then the thing is like Viggo Mortensen's character was, I guess he was like in the war or something and has had like some radiation sicknesses or some, he's had like some health problems and starts like losing hair and stuff. And so the main character starts thinking that the woman is taking his energy because she's a vampire. And it's just a very creepy, like disturbing, weird, mysterious type of film. It's hard to really describe. It's kind of a comedy. I really love it, but I've never seen anything quite like it. Yeah.
Well, you had me at vampire.
Yeah. you might find it really interesting because it's about like, it's not only is it about vampires, but it's also kind of about like trauma, and it's also about just weird like family dynamics and stuff. And yeah, it's a weird one though. Yeah. I mean, that's why I put it on my list, of course. So.
Weird list.
All right. My number 4 is Mother.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it. Like,
in a way, it's kind of like Antichrist. In a way.
Yeah. Just, I guess, like, isn't Aronofsky did it?
Yeah, Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
That's a more recent one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I want to see that one actually.
Yeah.
It's like her and her husband are in a house, and they like have a kid or something, and then.
Well, like, basically, like the Ed Harris shows up, and because he wants to use their telephone or something,
Yeah.
And then he ends up kind of like sticking around, and like Jennifer Lawrence is of course like she's kind of like this nice wife, and she's like she doesn't feel right like asking him to leave because that seems kind of rude. So she doesn't really want him there either. So it's basically a movie that's like kind of tapping into the like a really specific type of fear that people have. Like I actually have sort of a weird fear like this of somebody like kind of being in your home that you don't really want there, and they just like don't leave.
Yeah, just more and more people keep coming.
Yeah, because like then the doctor, like so Ed Harris, his wife shows up and she won't leave, and then their kids show up as well, and then like some other people show, and it's basically like Jennifer Lawrence like being ignored by her husband, and she obviously is uncomfortable with all these people hanging out, and her husband's like, oh, they're just gonna be here for a little bit, but then they don't leave. And yeah, then evolves from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
And
wanted to see that since
Yeah.
it came out.
the ending is just like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah. Yeah, that ending was. Ugh. I mean, I mentioned I don't like seeing horrible stuff happen to babies. That's probably like the worst thing I can imagine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ah, shit. Worse than the Serbian film baby thing.
I mean, that was pretty bad too, but I don't know. Like, I'd have to think about it. I honestly, because like what happens in Mother, just it. I mean, I think what bothered me about Mother, not only did it like make me sick, but it also like really depressed me too.
Mm.
And yeah, and I don't know, but it was a good movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it was effective for sure. So.
If we're talking about like disturbing baby stuff, Human Centipede 2, just throw that one in there.
Oh yeah, that was. Oh yeah, which
Huh.
although I will say I liked
I
the
forgot about that shit. I could have put that on the list. I didn't see
Yeah.
the second one, but I
It's-
saw the first one.
the second one. I liked the main actor, the main performance in it, because the main actor in it, Lawrence Harvey, doesn't say anything. You
Yeah.
know, silent performance. I like that aspect of it, you know. But yeah, the baby scene in that was awful as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do a little amend my third one then.
Oh.
I was gonna do Things, just but I felt like it was a little bit. I don't know. We covered it on the podcast.
Things is weirder than all the movies that we're going
Yes.
to talk about in this episode.
This would be my number one for
Yeah.
sure, but like
Yeah.
I put the other number two and one actually good movies that I liked that
Yeah.
are weird.
Oh, good. Okay.
So it would be Things / Human Centipede, I guess.
Okay.
They tie for third.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've seen all three of the Human Centipede films.
I only watched the first one.
Yeah. I mean, if you've seen the first one, like, you pretty much have seen the best one. Ultimate. I mean, that's
what
probably
I
about as good as
gathered,
it gets. Yeah. Like, after that, it's pretty much just about like how, like, bizarre, like, Tom Six can get as a director. Like,
All right.
yeah. I mean, if you're into like, if you want to like get grossed out, then I'd recommend the second one. I don't know about the third one, but the second one is definitely disgusting. The third one is more like just the third one I'd consider more of a comedy personally. Like it's a really loud comedy. It's a really like abrasive comedy where like it's just like a heavy-handed political satire, which I know sounds weird considering that it's a Human Centipede film, but that's basically what the
Okay.
third film is. So,
I mean, I saw I don't know, like the cover or the poster or whatever for it, and it was just like 1,000
Yeah.
people on it or
yeah,
made into
the
it.
third film takes place in a prison system, which
Okay.
already you're in trouble, like
Yeah.
just from that. Like, so.
Nice.
But yeah, I actually do like the first one though. I gotta say, I even though
I
like
thought it was interesting.
yeah, like obviously there's things about it that are kind of stupid,
Oh yeah.
you know, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Something about the premise was like weird enough that
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep. The premise
And-
sold it.
Yeah.
Being advertised as 100% medically accurate.
Yeah. I appreciated that. Yeah. My number 3 is this film called Marquis. And I don't want to really say a whole lot about it, but it's about it's sort of a puppet / stop motion movie about the Marquis de Sade being imprisoned in the Bastille prison in France, and yeah, there's a lot of surreal imagery. He has like a dog head. There's a really, really cute talking penis.
A cute talking penis.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to say too much about it, but it's I can't really describe it. It's too weird to even describe. Yeah, I love it, but it's weird.
Nice. The cute talking penis.
Yeah, it's the best character in the whole movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, well, that one's being added to the list.
Yeah. It used to. I at one point it was on YouTube, and it had English subtitles. But the last time I checked, which was like I want to say maybe a month ago, the version that was on YouTube didn't have English subtitles. So I don't know where it'd be available, but I'm sure if it was something you wanted to watch, I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard to track down.
Yeah. All right. My number 3 is The Holy Mountain.
Oh, nice.
I honestly don't really remember the plot too much, but I just remember it being pretty damn weird.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's like this guy who's like I guess he's supposed to be Jesus, and he walks into this giant like triangle looking thing with these rainbow colors, and this wizard gives him a bowl, and then he shits into the bowl, and then the wizard turns the bowl like the shit into gold, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's just it's great.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Never heard of it again.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have heard of any of your movies.
the director is this gentleman, Alejandro Jodorowsky. He's a very odd person.
Yeah.
that-
All of his films could be on this list for.
Oh yeah, like El Topo and Santa Sangre, all of them, all everything he does is weird as hell, you know.
Yeah.
But Holy Mountain, I would say, like, I could definitely like argue that might be his weirdest. I'd have to
Yeah,
think
for
about it
sure.
more. Yeah,
He's got a new Blu-ray box set coming out with most of them.
yeah, I'm stoked. You know, Severin I think put out Santa Sangre,
Yep.
and that's worth seeing. That's a weird one too, though. It's almost like an homage to Psycho. It's about this guy who he basically like his mom was this crazy psychopath who basically like psychically possesses his arms to kill people that she wants dead. Like, and yeah, it's unusual. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds it.
yeah. I love The Holy Mountain.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, and that would probably be a good movie to watch too under certain states of mind, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I have one for a certain state of mind that would be good. That I really liked this one that I just saw. I've only seen it once, but
Yeah.
it was a trip in the whole sense of the word trip. Enter the Void.
Yeah,
Yep.
excellent.
That one was definitely one of the weirder ones I've seen for sure. Like just how it was put together too. Like, you know, it first starts out as, you know, a first person movie. Like
Yeah.
you're in the eyes of the main character who's living in Japan doing drugs. And then, you know, Japan's really strict with drugs. So
Yeah.
he gets murdered by cops in a bathroom, and he's on DMT, which is, you know, that one where he's like one of the most like harder and psychedelics.
Yeah.
And so he gets murdered in the bathroom with DMT, and then you like kind of see him rise out of his body, like, you know, a third
Yeah.
person kind of thing, and then it just you're like him as a ghost of some sort, or like a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And it just goes through like his life basically, and it just has trippy visuals, trippy sound. There's like almost no dialogue. It's just, and it's a really long movie. And
Yeah.
like it's really interesting though. It's really cool. It like goes through the whole life cycle of a friggin' baby and shit, and like it's like so weird but so good.
That movie put me through the emotional ringer, I gotta say. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
there were parts where I was laughing, like, because the girl, the Paz Huerta, is such a bad actor, and I was laughing at some of the scenes where she was like, just being, you know, how she usually is.
Yeah.
But then there were parts that like really broke my heart too. Like mostly the scenes involving the children, and like the car accident scene where like
yeah,
one
it
of
goes
them
like back in time to when they were kids.
yeah,
So and like their parents died, and him and his sister are like orphaned
yeah,
from a car accident. It like shows it
Yeah.
over and over, like a few shots over and over. It
Yeah.
relives it.
and they were like really close siblings,
Yeah, yeah.
and so like
really close by the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. yeah, like they get even closer after he's dead somehow, and but yeah, the part where like they're getting dragged away or whatever, and she's like crying, like that stuff was really hard to watch. So.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie though. And the director, he did that movie Climax, which is also very, very disturbing. But have you seen that one yet?
No.
Oh, it's not as long as Enter the Void.
That one was
Yeah.
a long one.
Yeah.
And I watched it real fucking late at night too. We threw it on.
Oh yeah.
And like I like with tired like with but it was so engaging
Yeah.
just because of how different it was
Yeah.
that like, and then there was just visuals, like just a shit ton of visuals. Like I've tripped before, and it really felt like, the lack of sleep in this movie. It was like, oh fuck, I'm tripping off of this movie
Yeah.
alone.
I mean, if there's any movie that'll actually make you trip, like off of its its purely visuals, like, yeah, this would be the one, I think.
Yeah.
Because the visuals are overwhelming some at times, and
Like if you have epilepsy, you don't want to watch this one.
yeah, don't even watch the opening credits.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's a very effectively made movie though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Well, my number 2, I was really trying to resist the urge to avoid putting like animated films on my list, because like, I mean, we've all seen thousands of animated films, or maybe not thousands, but hundreds of animated films, and we've all seen really weird ones, and we could probably even make a top 5 weirdest animated films list if we wanted to. But I was trying to avoid like putting animated films on my list, but in the end though, like there's this one that like sticks out, and so my number 2, it's called Cat Soup. It's, I want to say, about 30 minutes. I don't really know like how to even begin describing it, but it is on YouTube, and it's weird, and I've seen a lot of weird stuff, but this was like weird this was weird in a more profound kind of way. I guess I'll leave it at that. It's, yeah,
We'll look that up.
it's kind of musical.
Huh.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
Hey. All right, so my number 2 is House.
oh, is that the
Japanese.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a really, really weird one.
I thought it was going to be like a ghosts kind of like supernatural kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, but
Yeah.
just like weird Japanese stuff, like floating heads and killer piano.
Oh yeah, she like gets eaten by the piano, but she doesn't even seem to really mind the fact that she's getting eaten by the piano. Like
Yeah.
it was almost like a non-event, almost like it tickled or something. And it's so surreal, like how like the yeah.
And then there was something with I'm trying to remember what happened with the cat.
Oh yeah, there's the picture with the blood spraying out of its mouth or whatever. And
Yeah.
the picture like keeps shifting and changing, and it's like 1 second it's like and at one point it leaps out of the painting, and then
Yeah.
like the room floods. And I know this isn't making any sense, but like if you saw the movie, it would
I've
make
heard of
sense,
it.
though.
but
Oh okay, yeah, like
there's a lot of cat stuff in these lists.
yeah, I'm noticing
Yeah.
that. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Definitely recommend House.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Probably
that's
check that
that's
one.
a
I've heard of it. Yeah.
it's a great weird movie. Like that's up there with like that one movie from Indonesia, or wait, was it Indonesia? Mystics in Bali.
Okay,
Did you
I've
ever
heard
see
of
that
that one.
one?
I've heard
Yeah.
of it. I haven't seen it.
I mean, I hate it, but it does kind of remind me of House. So like it has it has similar weird sort of thing. That might actually be an interesting movie to watch for the show at some point. You know, because I am kind of curious to rewatch Mystic Symboli, but I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, House kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's on Criterion Collection.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Which
shit,
what
okay.
can be better than that? You know,
Damn.
there's some weird movies on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. Shit. I'll have to put it on my list.
Yeah. House.
House.
Meow.
All right. So my number one now.
Yes.
All right. This one is, I don't know, kind of a cheat, but like, it's not that weird, but the premise is weird. But it's a really good movie as well, and I loved it. It's The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
Okay.
I mean, it won the Academy Award, right, for Best Picture that year? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, so might not really necessarily fit into this list, but the plot itself is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like a lady falling in love with a mermaid man. Like,
Yeah.
that's just fucking
I mean-
weird. I mean, so that's why I, put it as number one, because I loved it, and the plot is just like, okay, some lady falls in love with a mermaid man.
Yeah. I mean, and it's surprisingly tender. I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
I love that bathtub scene was
Yeah.
excellent.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that one a lot though. And again, that's another movie with a great like silent performance. in
Oh,
it,
yeah, yeah.
Sally Hawkins.
Yep, she was great in that.
Yeah.
I mean, Guillermo del Toro, he does make weird movies as well. Like Pan's Labyrinth was fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I like his style though.
Yeah, I
he's-
love Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite of his is The Devil's Backbone because like that one I feel like it's a good mixture in my opinion of like his supernatural style, but also it sort of feels like almost like a horror movie from the 70s or the 80s or maybe even the 60s also. Like it has sort of an old school, almost like a Night of the Hunter kind of feel to it, So that's probably my favorite. But Pan's Labyrinth is arguably his best work as far as like being well made and stuff.
Yeah.
And Shape of Water as well. Like
Yeah. It's a good flick.
yeah. My number one, like, it's so weird. I don't even want to talk about it. Actually, it's called Dr. Caligari, and I got about like 30 minutes into it, and it was too much for me at that moment in time. And I'll finish. I'll try it again at some point, but like, it was just too like. It was weird, but in a way that made me uncomfortable. Like it was the kind of like thing where it felt very like one dimensional, almost like I don't know. It felt almost like I was watching like some kind of weird performance art piece or something. Like there's like all these like I mean, it doesn't even have a plot. It's just like this lady who is like has like some sort of laboratory, and then like there's all these various there's like this part where she's talking to this serial killer in this electric chair, and he wants to get like electrocuted because he likes the electric shock, and like and he has like the scariest face I've ever seen. Like his face was the reason I turned the movie off, because his face was like really thin looking and weird, and the like the way the film was lit is odd too, because it looks like underlit, and the music is creepy, and the colors, and I'll give it another shot, but like it was like too much for me though. For some reason, it's like the one movie that was too weird even for me.
Yeah.
Like
Damn, it must be real weird.
yeah, it's called Dr. Caligari, not to be confused with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which came out in the 1920s. This one came out, I think, in like the 80s or the 90s. Like I want to say maybe like even like 1990 or in 1989. Like it's not related to Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. In fact, I think it might have even been produced by like an adult film studio. Actually, yeah. And it almost felt like a porno that wasn't a porno. Like I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it, but that's That's all I got.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. Another one to add.
I
Yeah.
think I'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, you can look up clips of it on YouTube, and that'll probably be more than enough. Like, yeah, it's
All right. My number one is Kuso,
oh yeah, isn't that the
directed by Flying Lotus.
yeah, Flying Lotus? And I love Flying Lotus.
Yeah.
I don't know either of these things.
Oh, okay.
Flying Lotus he's a musical artist, right?
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah, it's like kind of like a weird, almost like a blending of like electronic and jazz, with some like minor or major,
Well,
depending
I-
on the album, hip hop influences.
Now that you've mentioned it's a musical guy, I think I've heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah. But Kuso, it doesn't really have a plot.
yeah,
It's kind of just like a feature length, like of vignettes. It's supposed to be like post-apocalyptic.
yeah.
It's really weird and gross. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, there's a lot of like puke and piss and crap and
Just greasy
other.
people.
There's a lot of bodily fluids. It's like
Some people with boils all over them and stuff.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
yeah.
I
actually-
hate that shit.
Surprisingly, I actually thought it was kind of funny though. Like
Yeah.
I think because I was like, yeah, I was in the right mood for it. So to
Yeah.
speak.
It's basically like an hour and a half long Tim and Eric show.
No, I
kind
fucking
of.
hate Tim and Eric.
I think Tim Heidecker's actually in it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are in. It actually has quite a cast.
And it's a strong pass for me.
Yeah.
I hate Tim and Eric
Yeah.
shit.
No, if
Yeah,
you
it's
hate
got,
Tim and Eric, if you hate Tim and Eric shit, I also would recommend you avoid. Oh crap! Now I don't remember the name of it. It was like a newer. Greasy Strangler. I don't
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
you see that one either.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
That could have been on this list too. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits in line a little bit with Kuso.
Yeah.
because it's like gross and weird and funny in the same way almost.
Yeah.
So,
But Kuso also has David Firth, who did Salad Fingers, doing
I
some of the
fucking
stuff.
hated Salad Fingers. I was so
And-
disturbed by Salad Fingers.
and actually, I should probably tell you right now, if you didn't like Salad Fingers, you probably won't like Cat Soup very much because actually Cat Soup kind of reminds me of Salad Fingers.
Oh no! I hated Salad Fingers so much. Like
Yeah.
my buddies, like I forget who, but like they always loved it. I was like, this is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's
Disturbing.
creepy, and I love it.
what I loved about it was the music, in particular. Like, I mean, I think Salad Fingers was I think that actually introduced me to a couple bands I really like. Although I don't remember which ones now. But yeah, excuse me, sorry, I burped. Yeah, no, Kuso though. I mean, yeah, that's on. Isn't that on one of those streaming?
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be another hard pass for me.
I mean, I'd recommend it if one is a fan of Flying Lotus's music and like that weird style that he has,
Yeah.
kind of.
It's got a bunch of people that do good, like Hannibal Buress.
I love him.
Yeah,
Donnell Rawlings is in it.
Oh, he's good too. I like him.
yeah, yeah. They actually like some of the material they get is pretty like it's pretty interesting too. I mean, it's interesting to see people like with familiar faces be in something like this and have to do these really weird, gross,
Yeah.
unusual things, you know, and totally be like game for it 100%. So
That's one thing about like these weird movies. I always think about is like, how are people game to do this?
yeah,
Like the actors, and then like also, how do fucking people even imagine this shit to make?
Yeah.
How do they make it? I was like,
well, I mean,
what goes through their mind?
I mean, the first time I ever saw the movie, being John Malkovich, I remember kind of being puzzled by it because like the two main actors in it are like John Cusack and Cameron Diaz, and both of them, I mean, we've all seen a bunch of stuff, and they basically play the two main characters in being John Malkovich, and they're both these gross, weird people, and they're not wearing any makeup. And then you see Catherine Keener, who ordinarily in her movies doesn't usually wear makeup and ordinarily looks kind of like tired. And in this movie, being John Malkovich, she's all dolled up and she's supposed to be almost like this like sort of evil like hot lady. And it's just and like and I mean that's kind of a weird. And so I remember like when I saw that movie, like kind of thinking about like actors and particularly like popular well-known actors and like how much of a risk it can be sometimes to play like evil characters or play characters that do like gross like evil stuff. But then like the more I think about it, like a lot of the greatest actors I can think of have done like bizarre films in the past or have like taken like really bizarre roles and that they probably wouldn't ordinarily do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so
It's
hard
pretty
to-
often.
yeah.
Like everything Daniel Radcliffe is doing now.
I love
Yeah.
his shit, man.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that Guns Akimbo movie.
It's
Yeah.
really good. I can give you
I
a digital
wanna see
code
it.
if you want.
Yes, definitely. I need to see that. I love Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I do too. I think I like Daniel Radcliffe now more now that he's done with Harry Potter. Like
Yeah,
like he was good in Harry Potter. That's you know,
Harry
Yeah.
Potter's like a childhood like thing that made me who I am.
yeah.
And now that he's
Same.
blown up into something fucking amazing, is even like the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
Swiss Army Man.
That was so good. I,
I love
loved it.
Swiss. I loved Swiss Army Man.
People hated it, I feel, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
I loved it too. I think people were just. I think a lot of people didn't get the ending. I think is kind of the overall sort of impression I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Horns.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
You
was
see
good.
Horns.
that was good.
I
Yeah,
liked it. I liked it more because again, I think people didn't like it, but I liked it.
yeah. No, I liked it too. And I didn't think I would like that one for some reason. I don't know why. I think-
Yeah, I went in with low expectations because I
Yeah.
just heard
Yeah.
it wasn't good, but it looked good to me. So,
Yeah.
and it was. I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love when like actors that you like when you're a kid like grow up to be interesting, weird people. Like Shia LaBeouf, in my opinion, has had a more interesting career now that he's like not doing Transformers movies or
Yes,
anything like
definitely.
that. Anymore.
Yep.
Even though I loved him in Even Stevens,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was a
And
good
how could you
child
not, you know?
actor.
yeah. But these days, he's in stuff like that Peanut Butter Solution movie, or Peanut Butter Falcon, whatever it's called. I get the titles confused.
No, I want to see.
Um,
Yeah, I want to see. Well, I want to see both of those movies. But
Well, yeah, they're. I mean, Peanut Butter Solution. It's like an old school. Actually, I find that movie kind of terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
How Did This Get Made, which is a podcast like ours, did it a few weeks ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Okay, I didn't even know like that many people had even seen that movie. So.
I don't think many have. Yeah.
Like it's Severin just released it.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's another Severin release. Yeah.
Which I have on the way.
Oh,
Nice.
perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Peanut Butter Solution. It's surprisingly scary for the type of movie it is, in my opinion.
It sounded weird because I love How Did This Get Made. So
Yeah. I need to listen to that.
yeah.
That was the. I did listen to one episode. It was the episode where they talked about that movie Tiptoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to that one.
Yeah. Have you seen a scene or heard of Tiptoes, Zach?
I haven't.
Oh man.
That one's so fucked up. I haven't
It's-
seen it, but
Yeah. So
premise
basically,
is
like,
fucked up as hell.
I mean, this, in my opinion, this could almost qualify as a weird movie, like an honorable mention, because like Matthew McConaughey and Kate Beckinsale, they're a couple, and they're going to be like a married couple, like a newlywed type of thing. And she hasn't met his family yet, and it turns out, and this is supposed to be like a big shocking twist in the movie. It turns out that the rest of his family are little people.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
you're not going to believe who his twin brother is played by. Like, it's like the most random casting choice I've ever encountered. Gary Oldman,
All right.
Yep.
who is not a little person,
No.
but this movie really tries hard to make him into one.
All right, I'm gonna add that one to the list too.
And speaking
Yeah,
of
I
Matthew
wanted to see
McConaughey,
it, yeah.
yeah, well, you know, I would probably rewatch that one, to be honest, just because it's weird enough to, I think, honestly, to talk about. Like, yeah. And speaking of Matthew McConaughey, another really weird movie, at least in my opinion, was that Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation,
Yep.
which, like,
He was in that.
yeah,
Him and Renee Zellweger.
yeah,
When was this one made?
94, I think,
Okay.
and or maybe it was made a couple of years. Or wait, no, I think it was filmed in 94, but not released until like 96 or 97 because it was shelved because it was not like considered
good.
like, yeah, basically. And yeah, I mean, it's not good. And it's like, it's really, really weird. Like, okay, so I'm still trying to figure out the plot of that one because like, it's like these idiots are at prom, right? And then like one of them gets into an argument or something with one another, and so they leave, and they're not even driving for like 5 minutes, and suddenly they get into a car accident, like, and the guy in the car, like, he comes out of the car and he dies, or no, he doesn't die, he like collapses. So they go to look for help, and it doesn't even look like Texas, by the way, like, at all. And they go to look for help, and then like, but like they were only driving for like 5 minutes, and they're like lost somewhere. Like, how lost could they be? They're practically behind their school.
Yeah.
And like, and then like it just gets even more confused. It gets into like stuff involving like the Illuminati, and like also like all the cannibalism and the chainsaws, which is what, you know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is known for.
Yeah.
All of that's gone. Yeah, like, he doesn't kill anybody with a chainsaw. He does chase a character with a chainsaw, but he doesn't kill anybody with a chainsaw.
What?
And they don't eat people. They order like a vegetarian pizza at one point. Like,
What?
it's really
Yeah.
bad.
Huh. So do they just like get the rights to the name or something and just plop it in there?
Well, that's the weird thing. That's the weird thing. It's directed by the guy who wrote the screenplay, or one of the guys who wrote the screenplay to the original film.
Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah. It makes no sense. It's like a Twilight Zone episode almost.
The Leatherface in it's weird.
Actually, oh yeah, Leatherface. The Leatherface, the way they depict Leatherface in it is actually probably one of the only things about it that's sort of interesting, because it's actually like hilariously stupid. He's like a female impersonator. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't
What the
even.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's surprising that the original writer did that one too.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Matthew McConaughey has a robot leg that he could.
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he
Oh,
has
God,
a,
what the
he,
fuck?
he has
I
a
forgot
remote
about
control,
that.
like a remote control for his robot leg. And of course, like at one point, one of the characters gets a hold of it or something, and like it's just completely weird. Like, that's one of the
Jesus.
weirdest movies I've ever seen.
God damn.
Yeah. So, you guys have any others you want to mention, or?
I just scraped the bottom of the barrel to get my list, so no.
I mean, you got some pretty weird ones on your list, though, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean, Antichrist, Serbian film, like, those are two of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
Oh
so,
yeah, Serbian film is definitely the most
Definitely.
disturbing one I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up there.
Probably could have added any Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was trying my best to kind of like avoid like the usual sort of like Cronenberg, of course, like every film he makes is weird. David Lynch, every movie he makes is weird. Peter
Yeah.
Greenaway, every movie he makes is weird. Like, and so like I was trying to think of like some like maybe lesser known stuff that was like really like specifically weird to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's what
think
I tried for, but I didn't really watch that many either. So I just went for like The Shape of Water,
Yeah.
which just had a weird plot. But other than that,
Yeah. What were you about to say?
I had originally had Naked Lunch on my list.
Oh yeah, Naked Lunch is pretty weird. Oh my gosh. And the Ian Holm is in that, and Ian Holm passed away recently, actually. So.
Magneto. Or is
Um,
that a different
that's Ian McKellen,
Ian McKellen?
but
Is he
yeah,
alive?
yeah, he's still alive.
Oh, I was actually gonna say at the beginning of last week's episode.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Regis.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, I loved Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when I was a kid, and growing up,
Yeah.
when I had sick days, like when I was home school from sick, I loved watching Regis and Kelly.
Yeah.
Fucking Regis is the man. He's so fucking funny.
I learned a lot from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would, but I did. I also learned a lot from The Weakest Link as well. But yeah, any David Cronenberg and any David Lynch is weird, especially in my opinion, Eraserhead. I have absolutely no clue what to say about that one, but I love that movie. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really think of any. I mean, I guess if you want like maybe a recent thing I've seen, I watched a film. I think it's a Russian film called Hard to Be a God, which is sort of a science fiction film in a weird way, but it's sort of not too. Like it's basically. I mean, I'll summarize it quickly. Like it's basically, I guess, about like these scientists who travel to this planet where the civilization is sort of in a medieval state, and they go to this planet with the intention of actually educating these people, but the people don't want to be educated. They want to actually stay medieval. They want to actually regress more and more with their human behavior, and so it ends up basically just being this one guy who's a scientist. Trying to navigate his way through this medieval world where everybody around him is like plague ridden, and it's another one of those movies where there's a lot of bodily fluids. So I highly recommend you avoid it because it's Kuso. If you can't stand Kuso, you definitely won't be able to stand this one either because there's a lot of snot and stuff, and it's awful. And like there's this scene where they're hanging like intellectuals, like they're hanging like people because of their intelligence. And it's just one of those movies that got me thinking about a lot of things. But it was really weird though, and it was very dizzying. The way it was shot in these weird like it was shot mostly with these long takes. And
I love long take movies.
Oh yeah, this movie's full of long takes.
I might watch that one.
Yeah, it's the shots in it are sort of like circular, almost like a fisheye type of thing, and the takes are very extensive and complicated and go in all these like I don't even know how to describe. And I've watched it twice because I couldn't quite figure out what was going on the first time I watched it, and so the second time I watched it, it made a little bit more sense to me, but it was just bizarre. At one point he has to go find a doctor, and he finds him, but the person, like, he can barely take care of himself, let alone like other people. He like can't even tie his shoes. And yeah, it's a weird movie, and it's also like 3 hours long too. So
yeah, I mean, in the same vein as like, I don't know, good movies that are weird, but it's one of your favorite was Schenectady, New York.
Oh
that
yeah,
one's real weird, but really good, of course.
Yeah,
just how it's shot and done, and the plot and everything, it just fucking goes crazy.
I love Synecdoche, New York, but that is one of the weirdest movies ever, though.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a great one.
Yeah, it's the type of movie where like you're watching and you're into it, and it's interesting and it's funny and unique, and then suddenly, like, out of nowhere, you realize, like, wait a minute, like, I have no freaking clue what's going on.
Yep,
like,
pretty much.
What the heck? And then it just gets more and more. You just get more and more lost as it goes along.
Yeah.
And then Diane Weist's character shows up, and like then the whole movie just doesn't make any sense anymore.
You're in for it the whole time, though. It's amazing.
Yeah. Somehow, though, I was in tears by the end. And I don't even know why that movie like made me weep so hard, but for some reason that movie really like hit me like in a deep like emotional spot, and I really don't know why. There's something about how pitiful and sad like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character was, which like also kind of makes me think of Philip Seymour Hoffman as well, like as an actor, and so how like since now that he's passed away, we know he was kind of a tortured soul.
Yeah.
And so it's sad to watch him in movies where like he plays really troubled people, knowing that he was troubled in real life. Like Capote, I can't even watch it now. Like it's a great movie, but I don't think I could sit through that again.
Yeah, like one that like something on the same things like The Fisher King with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
That one I cried at, and it was like, oh shit, that's probably what he was feeling like. Like,
Yeah.
major depression and all that shit.
Yeah. And The Fisher King, I mean, that's already a really bleak movie.
Yeah, I love that movie though.
I do too. That's one of my favorite Robin Williams performances.
Definitely, easily.
Yeah, that's up there with like, Good Will Hunting and yeah. But anyway, so I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Executive decision.
Nice. All right.
All right. Well, until next time, have a good night, everybody. And yeah, I hope if you're into weird movies, I hope some of the ones we've suggested might interest you. So
Yeah, check them out.
yeah. All right. Have a good night.
Good night.